Hey guys, welcome to another awesome episode of Fstop Live with myself, Godox brand ambassador Sherwin. So, if you don't know me, I am a brand ambassador, photographer based out here in sunny Durban. I've been with Godox for some time now, and the amazing thing is we get to obviously learn and apply ourselves into new experiences. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you are tuning in, as you do know, for the many that have watched times before, do give me a shout out. Maybe just drop your name, where you're watching us from, and I will definitely give you a shout out. Okay, so I'll put up your comments over here, and I'll obviously give you a shout out, so people can see obviously what a big fan you are. But thank you for joining us. This is episode 10. We have come a long way since we started. As you can see, we've got some nice lighting and stuff now. We've got good audio, and I just installed a new beard, as you can see. This is freshly produced. Just got a new beard, and we're looking to obviously do some amazing things. But for this week, as maybe you've noticed, last week we had a bit of a break. For this week, we actually got a bit of an awesome installment. It's not going to be too long. I will definitely cut it a little short. But for this week, we have an awesome two guests. In fact, it's not just one guest. We've got two guests, and they were recently appointed as Godox SA affiliates. And we just wanted to spend the time with them and obviously go behind how awesome it's been to have them on the team, to go behind understanding how much of hard work that they've put into working with the brand, and how they were noticed. We're going to go over some subjects such as being a brand affiliate, understanding what goes behind the brand, the kind of content that needs to be pushed out, and the kind of audience that you need to reach. I understand that many of us have goals to obviously get linked up with brands such as Godox SA and many of the camera brands. But it's one thing understanding obviously what goes into the brand, and obviously understanding that how you become an affiliate. So these are the guys that are obviously new to it. They just got into it. So it'll be nice to obviously pick their brains and understand exactly how they work towards these sort of goals. But I'd like to introduce you to Pakamani. All right, there you go. Pakamani, thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like to introduce you to another awesome person. He was actually a person that's joined me a few weeks ago when I interviewed him. And we've got Karl Daniels. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so I was just telling the guests now. I wanted to go into the understandings of how did you get to where you are now, and obviously, firstly, just to congratulate the both of you. Congratulations on your
Thanks,
recent appointment as Godox SA brand affiliates. To the people that don't know exactly what it is the entry to the program. It's the starting of phase. It's the measure by which Godox SA will see how you work and how serious you are about the brand. And once you enter the program, there's obviously other positions that you can work your way into. But this is just the start of the journey. So congratulations, guys, and welcome to the team.
Thanks, thanks, Godox.
Yeah, so I know Pakamani, you've actually been really busy as well on your side. Having different. You recently had what wasn't a workshop; it was a shootout, right? So
That's correct.
How did that go? How did that go?
It was firstly nerve-wracking, but it ended up going well. And one of the things that I've really picked up is that in order for things to really work, you need to work with a team behind you. So having two guys that were basically like the anchors in terms of the project and marketing around it, it really helped quite a bit. And also the fact that they themselves were also users of the Godox system, so that made it a lot easier in terms of everything that happened last week.
And you, Carl, you've been busy with some awesome shoots as always. I see you're also doing some unboxing of some new equipment. I see there's a S17 sitting there behind you.
Yeah. No, I think with the investment that I made about a year ago, it was probably the best investment I can actually say I've ever done in the career of my studio and photography. And yeah, I think it's whenever I get new stuff, I've always got to unbox it in front of the camera now, because it's literally, I think it's key to actually get information out there to other photographers, to other people that are even thinking of using a certain brand. And I must be honest, since a year ago, I'm sold out to Godox. I'm just 100% sold out on the actual product.
I like what you just said now, and it actually shows how quickly. And I think we just spoke about this, off camera. We spoke about, obviously, being able to progress within the industry at a rapid rate. So you've been shooting Godox SA products or Godox products now for just about a year, just over a year,
Yeah,
and now you are in this position. How awesome is that?
yeah, fast track. Look, I'm not getting any younger, so I got to fast track things at my age.
You got a fast track thing. You got a fast track thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look, I mean,
and even you were saying.
and I think also with the support that, like yourself, um, I think what I fell in love with in the beginning of before I made the decision of investing into the brand was actually watching guys like Craig and the other ambassadors. Yourself, you've been awesome on the other end of a WhatsApp, no matter what time. So you guys are always available, which is actually lacking, which is the support side of things of this platform. So yes, you got Godox SA, but I think the platform that actually has been put in place is what I actually really fell in love with in the beginning, and that just made the decision to actually go out and get it all. So top.
No, and that's awesome. And that's awesome. And as I said, in fact, as you said now, it's actually been one of the best moves that you've made, best investment. Quickly, just to Pakamani, how's it feel being a brand affiliate? How does it feel being a part of the team?
I'd say it feels so surreal. Still getting my head around it, and it's really great because when I look at the lighting system, look at the creatives and everything that happens around it, and to be a part of such a program, then it kind of gives you that greater oomph of, what, I'm going to be doing a lot of learning. I'm going to be doing a bit of experimenting. I'm going to be doing a bit of this. I'm going to be doing a bit of that. But as much as everything is being done like that, it's also giving off the right vibes in terms of growth. And that's the one thing that I appreciate about the brand, is that it's not just looking at just who you are, but also how you grow with the brand itself.
No, and that's actually true. With that being said as well, I remember it was earlier this year that you was actually featured by Godox SA. That may have been an awesome experience for you.
Yeah. That was like a really awesome.
Just a quick backstory, just for the people, so that they don't know that we're actually in constant contact. It was in the week prior to obviously him being contacted for his feature, and might I say that obviously I had nothing to do with it. It was Godox SA that contacted him. Before you actually spoke to me and you were telling me about actually throwing in the towel, you were supposed to go on a bit of a hiatus, right? You wanted to have a bit of a break from photography, if you remember correctly.
Definitely, I was going through a bit of a slump, and I was like thinking to myself, what, is this photography thing really working? What is it that I'm doing? Where am I fitting into the space and all of this? I've got all my equipment and all of this, but what is it that isn't clicking? And I think for me, when that conversation around the article came about, that was also, the planting of the seed in terms of just respecting and looking at the other side of photography, because, photography in itself is art. And I believe that my focus was more on the commercial side than it was on the art itself. And basically the feature, what it reminded me about is the art of photography, how do we use light, and also having to look at pictures. I remember the time that I actually got my first the 80-100. It was a case where I had a chat with Damien, and Damien was like, yeah, you've got the like TT350, but have you ever considered off-camera flash? It's like, I didn't even know what that was. And in having those conversations, as I said, the thing about the Godox brand is the fact that you're speaking about people who want to invest in growth. You're speaking about people who want to invest in people, that sort of thing. So it's not just about the monetary factor, but how you enjoy the art using the products. And that's basically from making that decision of wanting to quit and moving to a space whereby, what, we need to create art with what we have, was something for me that was like definitely a thumbs up.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that balance. And what I try and do is every now and again, I'll sort of have a breakout time where I actually shoot creative stuff. Because you've got to obviously, being full-time in photography, I'm like, yes, I'm having to shoot families here, business headshots, all that type of stuff all over the place. But there's a time where you actually need to actually shoot just for you. Get your creative batteries recharged before you go out again and do the normal everyday stuff. And I think it's important to be able to actually set those times apart and actually shoot creatively and really experiment. And I think that's what just keeps me ticking over on that side of things, do those projects.
I would say it definitely keeps us sane. I just want to give a few shout outs here quickly. We've got Karen. Karen, thank you so much for joining us. We've got Jay Roman as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Sibusiso, thank you so much for joining us. And we've got Andrew. Andrew Samuel Boson. Hey, man. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. To the people that obviously just tuned in now. We're busy interviewing these two amazing brand new brand affiliates of Godox SA. But so yeah, we're just going to spend some time with them and obviously pick their brains. If there's any questions that you would like to ask these two gentlemen, if it's photography related, if it's maybe regarding lighting or what types of lighting they prefer, or just ask in the comments and I promise you we'll obviously get to it. But yeah, just to get to the serious business, guys, first question, and I'm going to ask Pakamani and then we'll move over to Karl. All right, so Pakamani, what's your definition, and then I would also further go on to ask, how important would you find the concept of brand loyalty?
Yeah, it's a very difficult one, especially in the time that we live in. We live in a time where it's all about at times populism and whatnot. And the thing about populism and its politics is that you just want to be seen. And unfortunately, when art is not a case of just being seen, but it's a case of how you become one with the community that you're working with. So when that happens, and you ask someone about brand loyalty, is that you look at what works for you, what works for you trying to establish yourself as a brand, and most importantly, in you becoming a brand, how do you work with the community that you serve? And unless you have the mentality of service above self, you'll never really understand the importance of what it is to be a brand, and also how to protect the brand in terms of understanding marketing and so to speak. So if you look at colors, for instance, that's something that is extremely important that we work with. Those are brand colors. How do you actually protect that? So loyalty for me is always a case of looking after people through information and how you end up sharing the information so that you develop growth. So that was how I'd actually define brand loyalty.
Awesome. Karl, with you? Brand loyalty?
Brand loyalty is,
obviously, and this is something I told you. Sorry, man, I'm just cutting you short there. This is something that I was telling you as well, off camera. We noticed you obviously as the brand itself. The brand is watching, whether you like it or not. People are watching. I don't know about other brands in South Africa. I don't know about the camera brands in South Africa. I can definitely I can say it boldly. Some of the camera brands in SA are fast asleep with regards to the creatives that are obviously working very hard to represent and push their brands. However, Godox is not sleeping. That's no two ways about it. So Godox is watching, team is watching. There's a host of creatives that are obviously all linked via a network, and we are all watching. Carl, you were actually spotted a while ago with obviously the stuff and content that you were sharing, the love that you had for the brand prior to you obviously being contacted to
Yeah.
be a brand affiliate. Um, what's brand loyalty to you?
I think with I think with Godox, I mean, literally firstly the product is to me a good product. It's a product that was very easy to actually use. It was a product that is actually for me the support is there. Um, if I need to pick up the phone, so they offer all these services, this back end services and everything else. So literally, your brand, you just fall straight in love with it, and you get that loyalty straight away. I think working with the guys behind the scenes, chatting to them when I needed to get any help or even speak about a product, the guys were there. So literally, that brand, you just fall in love with the brand, and that's what I love about it. I mean, I've used other brands. They dropped me in the deep end, so there was no brand loyalty there whatsoever. I think Godox have actually got a very good platform going, and I think literally you just become loyal once you actually start using their product and investing in that product. The loyalty just comes naturally. To me, that is the product is what actually makes you a loyal photographer or person or company that actually uses the brand itself. And to me, that's the quality of light, the simplicity, and it's really not badly priced, to be honest.
as far as price
Very
goes, we
true.
know definitely that they're definitely the best. Godox is the best. In fact, Godox SA is definitely the best. We've got
Yeah.
Ryan Bartle over here that's also joined in. Thank you so much for joining us. Shout out to you. We've got a question over here from Super Siso. I'd like Pakamani maybe to try and, because you were the one that was featured a few months ago. Um, how were you featured, Pakamani? How much of work went into obviously you being featured?
I think a lot of work went into it, and one of the things that I had to constantly do is that I, whenever I was posting, I'd actually just tag Godox say, and one of the things you mentioned is like Godox is watching, and for me that never really came into my mind up until someone said, you know what, we've seen what you've been doing with the brand itself and what you've been tagging us in, would you then be interested in this? And that in and of itself opened my eyes in terms of saying, as much as I've been trying for the past couple of years, also getting a bit of advice here and there about, but it was really awesome to actually finally see that, there is some form of recognition that is kind of coming through with all the work that we do. So in terms of getting featured, it's a case of just being consistent with the work that one is doing also the tagging, and also just making sure, again, it becomes a community thing and people see and watch and love what you do based on also, how creative you really are. And also just how the lighting itself gives off just immaculate, like in immaculate conditions where you find that, okay, it won't work here today, things such as high speed sync and whatnot coming into it, and you're like, I can work with this brand because it actually gives me that. And then at the end of the day, when you end up saying, okay, guys, thank you for having an awesome brand, and you tag Godox, SA, GPB, and that. And then you, at times, when you get that response of saying, we love this, and it's like, they actually saw, So that's something that I definitely say is that have your ideas, keep on shooting, and tagging Godox, and trust me, Godox is definitely watching.
Definitely. And as far as becoming an affiliate, Carl, the kind of steps that a person can put into place as a creative.
Well, literally, it's pretty much what we shared just now is being being in love with the brand, explaining even when you do a shoot, put a bit of technical information, what lights you were using, how it was. I mean, the other day I think I had a number of people ask me, "How did you do the gel shoot?" And what was the setup? So literally, I just did the diagram and posted the diagram, use what lights, what power settings. I think it's just also sharing what what lighting that you were doing, tagging Godox till they can't be tagged no more, um, and literally just sharing your experiences as a photographer, so other people can actually learn from that. And I think we've been able to share that experience on how you're shooting and how you're doing it. I think plays a good part to say, well, this guy knows what he's doing, and I think it's part and part of the parcel of he loves our brand. He posts love stories about our brand all over the place, and he's actually sharing on how he actually shoots the stuff. So I think it's part of the steps on getting there, and I think that's Godox SA. They just like to share. I mean, I've watched a number of ambassadors on YouTube sharing from products that they were using, and literally I think that's what you got to do. You just got to keep sharing. Gone are the days where we hide in our little cupboards and say, "No, I can't tell you exactly how I shot this." Share it. Everyone's going to shoot it different. So, I mean, I can shoot one setup and say, right, this is what I used. It's going to have Karl style. If I gave it to Sherwin, it's going to have Sherwin style. Even though the setup will be, there'll be a difference. So I think it's important. You don't have to worry about not sharing how you shot something, because I think those days are long gone. I think we're all in this together to actually, and there's more than enough time and people for us to be working with. And I think on the road with Godox, I think that's going to be the stepping stone of being now the affiliate. Sharing, tagging, doing whatever you can. Tell them how much you love the brand. And as I said,
Definitely.
Godox is watching, and and I think that's gonna be key on that.
I think what we the gist of what we are saying as well for those obviously that are watching and those who are obviously interested in someday becoming part of the team. Firstly, it's not for everybody. That's it's just plain. It's not just for everybody. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. Like even with myself as to being an ambassador, uh, a lot of hard work. I promise you, it's a lot of hard work. It's not just, the glitz and glamour of it. If people actually know, there's actually times in the day where I have to, call and get arrange things for clients that maybe there's issues, and I find it as an ambassador from my end, to want to be able to represent the brand as best as I can. There were times obviously that I called people just to make sure that things, transitions were happening properly, products were being delivered, and those kinds of things. So it's not just the glitz and glamour of like, hey, we're going to take Pakamani, he's taking nice pictures, we're going to make him an affiliate, and that's it. And I promise you, it's not that. You have to work very hard, very very hard. Apart from the creativity side of obviously, understanding that it takes a certain level of quality to be able to be noticed. It takes a certain level of quality to be able to stand out from the crowd, because at the end of the day we're living in a time where there's millions of photos that are uploaded, millions of pictures that are uploaded, and if your picture can't stand out in a sea of these pictures, you're not going to get noticed. So ensure that obviously your knowledge is able to get you the kind of quality that you need, or that you need to be at. If you can get that on par, then obviously that's like half the battle that's won. Secondly, and this is something that I've spoken about in depth previously when I spoke about being a brand ambassador, um, reach versus influence, very different things. So, reach is you can have 10,000 people that are following you on Instagram, while influence is the fact that you can get you can speak to 10 people and influence the decisions that you make. For example, if they're looking to purchase a product, and with your experience that you have, you can influence them to go for the best product for the value that they have and for obviously the affordability that they may have at that time. But influence can cause you to be able to assist those people into going into a specific direction, while reach is just how many people get to see exactly what you are talking about. So reach cannot be converted into numbers, or how can I say it, influence numbers as easily as influence can convert decisions to cash. You understand? So we have to understand that concept, understand that it's our influence as people, as creatives. When someone contacts Carl and says, Carl, I'm looking to buy a light and I have an X value that I'm looking at purchasing a light. So now Carl will be able to go now and use the fact that I trust you as a influencer to be able to tell me exactly what I need. And if there's anything I've learned in doing what I do, be honest. For example, there's times where I've turned people away from purchasing certain lights because it was not of their level as yet. You understand? People needed to work up towards. So I'm not going to go and tell a beginner to go and buy 8600. I won't do that. You understand? I won't do that. That light, they don't need to learn on an 8600. You understand? They don't need that kind of uh, power at that time in their journey. You understand? So yes, as much as the 8600 costs a lot more, and you can easily go and influence the person to be able to go and buy something that they don't really necessarily need at the time. You could easily say, rather go for the 8200. Now, if you'll have to compare the value of an 8200 versus the 8600, it's two big value differences. However, you can say a beginner can start off to learn off camera flash on an 8200 versus the 8600. So you have to be honest. Have to be honest when you're influencing people, regardless of value. So it's not just about making the quick buck or making as much money as you can. It's not about that. You ensure that you give quality advice. You ensure that you give advice that will obviously allow for people to progress in their journey, because you coming with foresight, you coming with knowledge that obviously they don't have. So you ensure that you can direct them on the best path possible. And that's something that I've really worked hard towards doing, because you have to make sure that you're giving the correct advice. So that's just obviously maybe some advice from myself to the both of you, and obviously for those who would like to someday be influencers. But quality, understanding influence, and with what you said, Pakamani, that you have to be consistent. Have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you ain't getting nobody's attention.
That's it.
We've got we got Andrew over here that also stated, he says behind the scenes always helps, not only for educating others, but also helps show people how to properly use the brands and such.
Yeah.
And
True.
by the way, Andrew is also he's always assisting, eh? That's the admin of SA Photography. We got Zuha. Is that how you say it? Zuha. Behind the scenes and technical shares definitely help so much. Very true, Carl. Everyone shoots in their unique style. Shout out from Cape Town. And yes, consistency is key. Okay, we got some questions over here from Subusiso. Which Godox lights would you recommend for an entry-level photographer who is just starting out his or her journey in photography? Okay, Pagamani, which light would you suggest?
Definitely, for a beginner, one of the things I started with is definitely the TT350. And one of the things about this is also understanding at times is that you don't want to have, like, I'll give an example. A V1 is a very good light, but at times it can be extremely top heavy. So you want something that you can work with, and it's starting from the ground up. So definitely a TT350 is something that I would actually move into. That would be my first one, and definitely was my first one. And then gradually upgrading And also the fact that with the TT350, because of just how immaculate the Godox system is that you can also use it as an off-camera flash option. So that also just becomes something that is a wow factor. So you're getting the best of both worlds in terms of what you can have on camera and also what you can have off camera using a trigger. So that's the beauty of it. But the other great beauty is with the trigger that you get as well. It's the X2T trigger. So that one you can actually even house flash on it. So that also gives something that is extremely really nice. But definitely this is something that I would actually start with. And also when it comes to the pocket, it is extremely, pocket friendly, so that is definitely something that I'd go for.
Okay, so there's two types of pocket friendlies there that you could say. Number one, it's affordable, and number two, when you say pocket, it can actually fit in your pocket. We also got a question for you there, Karl. He wants to know how often do you upgrade your Godox gear, and how often would you encourage someone to upgrade their Godox products?
Well, for me, I mean, because I was in photography for a while, I just went and kitted out with everything with the 8300s and the 8400s. I mean, I don't think I'll be upgrading as much, but I mean, in the studio, those lights are more than adequate to be using. I mean, it's quite a full house of lighting. But I think with, say, you were going through from your 8200 to 8300, but then I think if you've been shooting and you feel that you need a little bit more power, I mean, I would from 8200, I would definitely look at the 8300. They're quite an amazing light, and even though it's only 100 watts more, but it's quite a little compact powerhouse of light. I would say, because I mean I've been shooting with these for a year already, and I've seen no need to upgrade. I would like to get a 600 so I can shoot into sun and stuff. I mean, Sherwin keeps teasing me about that one.
Are you talking about this one over here, right? This one here.
Yeah. It's like yes, but I think upgrading your product. I think if you feel comfortable and you're generating good content with what you've got. You said you've got an 8200. I mean, I've seen guys shoot amazing stuff with weddings with 8200s. And I mean, it's quite a robust light. I've never used it, so I went straight in above that one. But I think if you are looking to get a bit more power, I would then look at the 8300. Maybe once you feel comfortable with what you've got there, and you're generating decent content with those, then by all means go for a 300 and start playing with those.
I would definitely say the 8200. I'd pick the 8200 over the 8300 purely because of the portability factor. It's very small, and there's quite a few attachments that's for it. But as far as obviously in my current state of photography and what I do, I would then choose the 8300 over the 8200. So when it comes to obviously starting off with off-camera flash, the 8200 would be a really good start off. 200 watts is more than enough to learn about off-camera flash. So yeah, I started off with I think it was an 8200, and I had the V350, not the TT350. So just those two, and I would shoot obviously, get some really nice results. So Pakamani, what Andrew wants to know, what's your favorite Godox modifier?
I'd say I love my 44 centimeter beauty dish. There's just something about the portability of it, and also just how much light I can generate, whether it's too close or just bring it a bit back. But definitely, it is a favorite.
Okay, so I've actually got a 56 centimeter beauty dish that's up here, and that's also one of my favorite. So in fact, a lot of my off camera work, if you see me shooting with the 8600 on location, and whenever I didn't have an assistant, I'd take the 8600 with the beauty dish. It would do quite well when there's wind. If it's too much of wind, it would become a problem. But now my favorite setup is the 8300 and ADS 85. Oof, absolutely amazing. That's just enough. If I'm gonna do anything on location, and if I'm shooting, obviously without an assistant, that's the lighting that I want to use.
Yeah. No,
And
that 5
with you,
S is actually
what's your favorite modifier? What's your favorite modifier?
well. I like the S85S. That one is great, and I think the this projection unit is getting a bit one of my favorites, which I'll be really using it on Monday with that one shoot. But yeah, it's between I think my beauty dishes and the S85 S on the lights. I use it on the 400s as well as the 300s. It's awesome modifier.
We've got Ryan over here that just quickly says the versatility of the 8200 is insane. I must just make a note of that. I've actually owned two 8200s. It was a few, maybe just over a month ago or so, that I actually sold the 8200, and I actually went and got two 8300s. So as you can see, the two boxes that are there. The 8200 is definitely still one of my most favorite lights that you find in the Godox system. It's really nice. It's something that you can really work with quite easily. Um, and over here, we got Andrew that also says possibly the biggest reason I've owned so many and given away so many over the years. It is just so damn versatile. It is definitely versatile. So fun to work with. Ryan goes on to say, "I've got two of them, and I refuse to part with them." Okay, so Ryan, I'm gonna challenge Ryan. All right, Ryan, if you can, you come and pick up one of these babies here. So I'll lend you one of these babies over here, and then when you're done using it, we can make arrangements so you can buy two 8300s. When you sell those 8200s, okay, that's a challenge to Ryan Barnett. Yeah, but yeah, guys, thank you so much, for joining us as well. If there's any questions that the people would like to ask viewers, please definitely ask it in the comments. As we did say, it's very um, it's straightforward in becoming involved in the team now. So Godox SA has just recently launched an affiliate program. So although the affiliate program was launched, Pakamani and Karl were actually headhunted as affiliates. So I'm just going to put it out there so you know. They didn't apply to be an affiliate. They were headhunted because of their hard work and because of obviously all of the tagging that they were doing. Because every post that you see Pakamani puts out, you will see tags. Godox SA, he tags Godox SA, he tags Godox SA. Likewise, even with Karl as well. I think Karl was becoming a bit troublesome. It was either we gave him a position or he was going to continue to tag us. Um, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
Sure,
yeah, tagging is important, hey guys?
it is
Yeah,
very important.
definitely.
Always.
Now, I mean, obviously, give credit where it's due. If you are using the Godox SA products, do definitely tag them. Let them know that obviously you're using their products. Let people know that you're using their products, and as that snowballs and as that builds up, then obviously you start getting recognition. It comes back. Sometimes it comes back actually tenfold. So just keep tagging, keep tagging, keep tagging. Um, but yeah, guys, if there's any advice, Pagamani, what would you like to advise some of them, maybe the newbies or those who are looking to shoot off camera flash, or those that may even be looking at the Godox SA system itself? What would you advise?
My simple advice, when it comes to off-camera flash, is enjoy it. When I say enjoy it, take your time with the system. Take your time to understand when someone says to you, you need to expose for the background, you need to expose for the foreground. You need to also envision the shot in terms of what you want to actually put out there. And also, very important, like one of the things that Andrew, in terms of his comment, also advised, having that behind the scenes, understanding the scene, understanding even lighting, understanding, shadows if you want to create shadows. There's a post that Karl did recently where he like he created his own shadows. It was like a really immaculate shot where he actually did that. And when you start doing that, at times you're shooting in a sort of bushveld, and you use maybe the leaves or the branches as that sort of thing. So think about it in the creative space in terms of wherever you are, you can be creative. Look at the colors of the places where you're at. Look at the colors or the theme that you are actually going for. So that is what creativity is all about. It's about just using the natural resources in front of you, and just then adding the Godox lighting to your experience. And that's when you actually start to see, at times, one person will tell you, you need to shoot at full power. You don't. At times you just need to get as subtle as light as possible. So looking at things such as different modifiers and what you can really do to shape light, what a reflector really does if you use a reflector, what softbox really does, what beauty dish really does. So you have all these different ways in which you can modify and play with light. So that's why I say it's important to have the idea that you want to enjoy it rather than just being, I need to be seen. You definitely will be noticed. You also take time to notice yourself, because when you do that, that's when things become just a lot easier. So that would definitely be my advice. Take your time with the product, shoot what you love, and most importantly, enjoy every second of it.
100%. Yes.
I
Pakamani
love
for
going.
president. Now, imagine now Karl has to follow up in Pakamani on what you just said. Karl,
Sure.
good luck. I wish you
Sure.
all the best. But I would
Thanks,
know from you, what would
Ditto.
you advise?
Ditto.
What would you advise?
I think my space is a little bit different. I mean, I do some location shooting, but I mean, I do a lot more studio stuff. And I think it's not to be scared to experiment. I mean, I've even shot bare bulb in studio, which is like a bit of a
Don't
crazy
do
thing.
that. I know. And people are like, don't do that. No.
Oh, man, you know what? It's like, I mean, things like off-camera flash, like bouncing. I mean, the one shot I did, I think, of the Swatch watch. I was bouncing an 8300 off the one back wall, and then I was bouncing another 300 off the ceiling. And so, I mean, it's to actually experiment with the light. To actually, there's so much freedom in off-camera flash, and it's not to be scared to experiment. Don't be scared of shadows. I love shooting with shadows. It creates that mood. Yeah, it's doesn't matter what you've got, whether you've got this an 8200 or an off-camera flat or even a flash. Just mount them on stands and shoot them and play around with it. Learn how to bounce light off the walls, off the ceilings. You get so much more creative with strobe and flash photography. So don't be scared to experiment, and as you said, just love what you do, and tag.
I'm going to say this as as best as I can, because I've actually been in the space now for a while, and I've actually seen quite a few people that that also love the brand, that obviously they shoot some really amazing work, and it's not just the quality of your work that's going to get you noticed, which is the truth. But I'm going to put out a challenge to some people as well. If you want to know exactly what it's like to see what an affiliate or a brand ambassador or someone that wants to obviously represent the brand, someone that wants to be headhunted by the brand. As I said, it's not. I said this previously. I think it was in the time that I spoke about being a brand ambassador. It's not just about tagging, and making sure that you're always tagging Godox SA. It's not just about that. There's no sure formula about this. But if you want to see what a brand affiliate slash or brand ambassador slash brand influencer or someone that is obviously been headhunted by the Godox SA brand and become affiliates, I want you to go and check these two guys' Facebook pages out. Go and check both Pakamani and Ndwandwa and go and look at Carl Daniels' Facebook profiles. Search through the pages quickly. Just go through it, and I want you to see exactly what it takes to be able to be headhunted, because you will notice week in, week out, these guys have been putting out the quality, they've been consistent, they've been ensuring that their reach is going out, and they've been ensuring that obviously they're showing how much the brand means to them. They've been showing it in their work. They've been showing, obviously, discussing stuff like products and how they shoot, what they shoot, why they shoot. So, as a show example, guys, go and check out these two guys, Carl Daniels and Pakamani and Ndwandwa, and you will see the perfect example. I believe this is the perfect example of what someone who can obviously someday go on to become a brand ambassador. You can look at their profiles and see that easily, because their love for the brand is definitely portrayed by both of your socials. And I've seen that over time, guys. But congratulations once again on your appointment. I know definitely it was amazing work, both of you. Just keep being supportive, obviously, and helping the community. The main thing that I've believed that has got me to where I am today is to ensure that how I grow, people around me grow with me. So I'd like for everybody that's in my vicinity, to be acknowledged, to be reached out to, and obviously to be working with brands such as this. Help the community. It's not just about ourselves. There's a lot of community work that can be done, and I strongly believe money can be made. We can make money there's so many different avenues and ways of making money, but building relationships and building lasting relationships is something that's so priceless. You can't put a price to it. So sometimes even with myself, I'd have events that money is not included, or there's no registration fee. I'm covering my own fuel. I'm paying for the event. I'm paying for whatever it is, just to obviously get people together to build people up. But I think that's very important. So keep building your communities wherever y'all are.
That's true.
We've got a question over here by Sipusiso. I think maybe Carl, you can answer this here quickly. Yeah, wants to know when do you? Sorry, he wants to know the difference between a normal soft box and a beauty dish, and when do you know which time it is to use the beauty dish?
Well, in studio, I use my beauty dish for a lot of my sort of glamour type portrait stuff. So it's got that beautiful, nice sort of hard specular light that I use. And then obviously soft boxes, exactly what they are. They're soft box, often double diffused. So your light is a lot softer. So yeah, I mean the glamour work, I tend to use my beauty dish, sometimes even with a grid. And then my softbox stuff I use generally all the time. I often actually even sometimes even remove the inner diffuser from the 85S, the S85S. Gives you a little bit more specular light, but softer lights with the softboxes, nice sort of hard beauty light for the beauty dishes. And also when you're shooting sports type people, rugby players or whatever in studio, remove all diffusers off those beauty dishes and get a nice, good, hard, sort of masculine light for those type of shots from the portrait side.
No, definite. And with you, Pakamani, when do you use your beauty dish? You said all the time.
I like it mostly I just like the portability around it. But otherwise, I do have a 60 by 60 softbox, which I tend to love quite a lot. And also, again, the thing about the beauty dish for me is just also at times when it gets a bit windy, then I know that I'm safer with the beauty dish than I would be with the softbox. At times it can be slightly a bit heavy. So when it catches the wind, then, So I've actually had a softbox catch the wind, and my 80 to 100 basically still has the scars. So, yeah.
It's not something to laugh at. But, I know about those moments when the light just... but guys, thank you so much for joining us. As I said in the beginning, I just wanted it to be a short time in congratulating you and people understanding what goes behind the scenes, and congratulations on both of your appointments. I know definitely you guys are going to be doing well, and thank you so much for joining me today.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
So, guys, say goodbye. Okay,
Cheers,
we're going to
guys.
round off. Just before
Cheers,
we close up, where can Pakamani, where can people obviously follow you on your socials? Can you please share your socials?
Definitely. I'm Geek Imprint, as can be seen over here. That's Geek Imprint Photography on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, I share quite a bit of stuff in terms of my commercial work there. And then as Pakamani Ndwandwa on Instagram for more the non-commissioned but really creative work as well. So it's a bit of that. And you can get me on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. And you, Karl, where can people find you?
Okay, so Instagram is kjdphotography.sa. My Facebook page is KJD Photography SA, and obviously my personal, which I also post photography stuff also on there, will be KJD Photography 99, which is my normal Facebook page. So yeah, any of those. I'm also on TikTok, LinkedIn, but yeah, so you can catch me on those.
Okay, so guys, as you can see, we've got two amazing affiliates that are here. And when you do look at purchasing some stuff from Godox SA, you can contact either one of them. They'll share their links with you, and you can use those links to purchase from Godox SA. Support local, as I always say. So maybe you can help, obviously, uplift these gentlemen in the journey that they are in. But guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks, Sherwin.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for that support.
Cheers, guys. Bye. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. If there are any questions that you'd like to ask me quickly, I may just give a few minutes towards that. So Ryan, as you see, he stated that he's accepted my challenge. He's going to come and pick up one of my 8300s, and he's going to use it. And guaranteed, when he does use it, he's going to come begging back and asking me where can he buy his 8300 from, of which I'm going to refer him directly to Godox South Africa. But guys, yeah, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. It's been fun having obviously two amazing individuals that have recently been appointed as Godox SA brand affiliates. There is a brand affiliate program that has been launched by Godox SA. So you will notice there's quite a bit of stuff that's actually happening. And in the months to come, you will see a lot more is going to be happening. So the team is working tirelessly behind the scenes to obviously get a lot more involved in the photography community as you know it today. So there's some amazing things, some stuff that you've never seen before. You would not see some of the stuff that Godox SA is planning to put out. I'm not at liberty to share exactly what those things are. So we've been in meetings and been in discussions, and there's actually a really big game plan. So one of the things obviously that has been obviously set up already is the free basic training. If you are looking to get some basic training on photography and lighting, do head over to the Godox SA page. You'll find it obviously the free basic training by Godox SA. So no matter where you are in the country, closest to all major cities, we do have obviously affiliates and representatives that are over there, team members that obviously will be able to set up the training. So when you register, you'll obviously be notified when there's going to be training in your area. So that's going to be awesome. That's actually going to be really nice. It's going to help obviously build up the community. Those obviously require training. You don't need to have purchased from Godox SA to be able to apply for it. It's open to everyone. It's open to anyone. If you are a photographer or you're looking to be a photographer in South Africa, and if you want to obviously understand lighting and how to use the Godox equipment, do register for that there. It's going to be amazing. So there's definitely some awesome stuff that's coming up. A second thing that was launched recently, you see it was launched earlier this week. It's the brand affiliate program. So if you want to be an affiliate, like what Pakamani and Karl is obviously involved in now, you can actually head over to the Godox South Africa page. You can obviously register to become an affiliate. There's certain rules and regulations that obviously will be discussed, and you could become an affiliate. And once you enter the affiliate program, obviously you are given the opportunity to be able to grow within the ranks of the Godox South Africa team. As you can see, where I am today, I started off as an influencer, and today I am a proud brand ambassador. So yeah, there's definitely some awesome opportunities coming for the South African community, the South African photography community. So do stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us also. You can just click the like button and subscribe on YouTube. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining. If you are looking at purchasing some stuff from Godox South Africa, as I said, you can use Pakamani and Karl's links, and we wish you all the best. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and I will definitely see you all next week. All right, cheers.